4-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no!
Oh, here's Light Bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man Light Bomb. They're going to follow up, and they're going to get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's going to be everybody dying. Oh my god, when does this happen? Everybody's dead.
G'day, and welcome back to probably my last cast, actually definitely my last cast of at least the day. This time we are venturing, I know it's rare for me to venture up here, but we're venturing into Heroic Division with Running Wild facing off against Vendetta. So this, I think this is, oh god, I should really know this, shouldn't I? Let's have a look, actually. Let's open this up. I think Heroic's like the one, yep, so Storm Division is like the top one, then Heroic is the one just under that. So these are two of the, definitely some of the better teams in the NGS scene in general. There's some very good players in both these teams. I wish I could play as well as some of both these teams, but here we are anyway. I just know how to talk a bunch, and I'll just leave the playing up to them, so to speak. But we do have Running Wild facing off against Vendetta. Running Wild did choose to ban out Volskaya Foundry and Cursed Hollow, while Vendetta banned out 2-lane maps. Apparently they just hate 2-lane maps of Battlefield of Eternity and Praxis Holdout. And unfortunately for me, that means we get another game of Infernal Shrines, which I swear I needed like an Infernal Shrines counter somewhere. It's just, how many times have they played Infernal Shrines? Ding! And just tally it up and I'll get like, oh, I cast Infernal Shrines 90 times this season, which obviously not. I haven't casted quite that many series, I think. I'm nowhere near that. I think I may be around 50 at most, not 60, but not 90 by a long shot. But we'll get into Infernal Shrines to get this thing rolling so I can go have some lunch and just after this series, depending on how long it is, and maybe dinner. We'll find out, but let's swap it into it. Right, so on the left-hand side of Running Wild, we have Fallen Grits on the Blaze. We have Ravor on the Diablo. C10 oh no, that's the name. C10 VerHD1 on the Vala, who is just going to be called Vala for this game, for all intents and purposes. We have Elixir on the Chromie, and Mr. Executive is on Anduin by the looks of it. And on the other side, we have Geoxorus on the Stukov, SCH on the Joanna, Zelgo Jacko on the Urel, Indigo Zap on the Tigers, thank you everyone for moving so I can see it, and Dash Blue on the Maev. So some nice interesting comps here to start, but I wouldn't expect anything less from kind of this division, so to speak. So we'll have to see how this one goes. See Chromie Sewing Sands coming out. Zelgo Jacko pushed straight into a wall. Oh, I guess it's just Zelgo Jack 1 pushing into the wall with Fallen Grits taking a decent amount of damage. Horses King hitting the butt with a little bit of grenade and having to back on out. Meanwhile, we do see the side of Vendetta starting their rotations. We've already cleared up mid. May as well start rotating down now to get that kind of general soak going and leaving, or slowing down Running Wild as much as you can, and they're doing just that. Ravar looking to maybe get something a little bit tricky, a little bit nice little pick there. But we see Elixir is going to get what damage they have, and Mr. Executive pulls them out of danger. You know, see they've only just gone to that wave now, starting to clear it. Meanwhile, middle wave is already clashing once again. So there is definitely a rotation advantage going over to Vendetta currently. Running Wild having a little bit difficult getting past everything so far. I would like to see maybe Joanna try to slow down one more rotation there, just to see if they can get any more of those kind of minimum XP globes for the side of Running Wild, but they made their choice, and they do still kind of have that slight advantage so far in favor of Vendetta in terms of that soak. You know, we can see bottom camps finally being picked up, and the offlaners are just doing their best to double soak and pick up what they can. Diablo being needed bottom. But in terms of stacking, we're at the point where stacking isn't as much a thing anymore. Just, we do have Vala, who doesn't have any option. We do have the Fire at Will. Yep, that's right. And we do have Imperius, as always, not Imperius, Diablo needing stacks from his Soulstone, which is just a hell of a thing. And Chromie actually went that Time Walker's Pursuit to keep an eye on everything and get a base of 10 spell power, base 10% spell power without needing to do anything in particular. Meanwhile, we do have Subdue picked up, which where is my starter prediction button? Right, we do see Zelgo Jacko being chased out. We do see an aggressive invade by Running Wild, trying to see if they can get Vendetta. Excellent stun onto Dash Blue. Dash Blue is the first one to go down. We see SCH trying to get a lot of damage onto Raver and such. Raver actually getting relatively low. Keep in mind, Indigo Zap is for big of AR, so they do a lot of damage. C10 Verd HD1 is now going to be running for their life. And they're actually going, I don't want to die here. This is not a me problem. I don't like this one at a time. Oh. There we go. Will Joe complete Subdue? Prediction is up. Because this, again, is one of the harder ones to complete, so I'm not going to expect it always to happen. But if they do get it, you get a nice little payout, depending on what you bet. But we do have top objective coming up. It is a Frozen Shrine. This is one of those stronger ones where it can just kind of make any push a deadly push, to say the least. As you see, Ravel is in danger, gets sucked back in, but will be able to get out. Geoxerus does put silence down and unable to do anything else with it. And we just see now the side of Running Wild regrouping top, while the offlaners are getting that double soak. No one actually started a shrine yet. It has been started, but no one is going to be able to contest it yet. We do see it as getting a little bit started by Vendetta. They are getting it just a few at a time. Rave are getting pushed onto Dash Blue, getting a nice tear onto it. Geoxerus chasing, not going to get anything. And Indigo Zap, not able to find anything there either. C10 Ver HD1, just coming up now. I don't know how to actually say their name. I'm just saying it, praying it's the right thing. And then we see SCH being chased onto. We see Dash Blue dashing out. They do get a pull onto the Diablo. Fallen Grits managed to wait out the time and charge out at the end, holding on barely. They're needing a little bit of a top off, a little bit of love and a little bit of support. They are going to just play a bit patiently. Surprised they're not lighting their own fire, well, oil on fire to heal up. Nice hit by Zolgo Jack there, actually stopping the blaze charge in its tracks. We see Chromie's the first one to go down. In this fight at least. We see Ravel are in danger. We see they are pushed back just enough by Zolgo Jack. We see an interesting shove by Ravel, but I guess it's because the full-on Grits charge also looked a bit weird and it looks like it extended it. But we see Anduin is the one to go down. Mr. Executive not quite able to hold on. It's sad to see that one because I do like Mr. Executive and how he plays the game. But that is going to be objective likely over in favor of Vendetta, as they are able to get a decent start on it now and going to put himself far enough ahead where it's not going to matter if you are Running Wild. So it looks like we are going to get ready for that defense. Full-on Grits is already here clearing. But keep in mind, if it jumps, it's not actually the safest place to be by any means. Just because when it jumps, that gauge is already down. They can dash onto you, but it looks like Joanna is not in position to follow up on it. But we do see Chromie does find their heroic now. Song Sands picked up. And that should hopefully help the side of Running Wild. We do see Immortal is pushing in, doing a decent amount of damage, getting that fort down, just punching it a little bit. Ravel is getting pushed onto. We do see does get jumped onto now. Dash Blue considering getting maybe aggressive. No, they do not. But they will get flipped. That is now the Punisher turning off the fort. We do see Dash Blue getting a nice Teva Elixir, only one found, getting pulled back in. Does get hit with grenade follow up, and they do have to keep on running. Meanwhile, Raver takes the jump from the Punisher, and that will be a Punisher finding the first building of the game, but that will ultimately be 10's just about coming through for Vendetta. They do have heroics now. Chromie does scout where Vendetta are, so they will not go down. Dash Blue dashing just before Raver gets the stun on them. That's very good timing for them. Lightning Breath coming out, doing what damage they can. However, that will be a good stun by Vala. Rain of Vengeance doing so much. Dash Blue, however, just able to get out. Nope, Fallen Grits finds him and finds him with the Q. So that is a good kill by the side of Running Wild. Raver pushed away by Geoxerus. Zelgo Jack pushing him back in. Indigo Zap activating Minigun. However, Minigun doesn't do quite as much at this point when they're that low of health, just because of the bigger they are. There's no bonus when they're below 33% health. Meanwhile, we see Yorel going down. Armed Defender not being able to be popped there, so they will just pop like the Weasel, and they will be able to keep running. Fallen Grits charges into the backline. Doesn't quite find anything. Needs to drop Bunker and backs out before they go down. So that is a very good fight for Running Wild, considering they've not quite had the rub of the grain so far and needing that turnaround to come back. Right, we see Dash Blue is going to be starting the siege camp with that Nisha's Memento. I don't remember what that one's ever called. I'm so bad at remembering talent names. Dash Blue having a little think about before that last auto attack. They're like, Cool, goes to Vengeance back, and now we'll finish for camp. Meanwhile, we see Dash Blue does get the containment disc onto the Vala, but Vala's able to escape still. Dash Blue now, awkward situation, does need a leap. Rayvar is taking a decent amount of damage, well actually a decent amount of aggro. They pop the Soul Shield, so they wouldn't take that much damage, and the 75 spell armor does a lot to say the least. But having a quick look at the other heroics and getting a moustache in my nose, because apparently that's what we're like today, because my moustache is a bit too long today. We do have the Rain of Hitch Vala, we have Sonic Sands on Chromie, Bunker Drop on Blaze, Light Bomb Anduin, and Lightning Breath on Diablo. And on the other side we have Falling Sword Joanna, which is getting very aggressive all of a sudden. We do have Commandeer Odin Tychus, Containment Disc Maev, Undefended on the, as I'm looking at her, Blanky Urel, and Flailing Swipe Stukov. We see a nice charge coming out of 400 grits onto SCH. SCH not really in too much danger, and does just slowly walk out to safety. Right. Nice Q by C10. Verve, HT1, Vala. God, that's such a weird name to say. We do see Rayvar is pulled back in, taking a decent amount of damage. Does have to pop spell armor. Is going to back out here. We do see SCH is going to also take a decent amount of damage. C10 actually running out of resources. They're not quite able to maybe stay and sustain the fight as they are wanting to. They are having to back out. We see Dash Blue has started the objective, and the rest of the team of Vendetta are around them. We do see Blaze gets a nice charge on Dash Blue with that bonus damage of the level 13 talent. Can actually do a quite sizable charge portion of damage. Zelgo Jack is going to backline. We do see they get the drop onto Mr. Executive, however. A good little bit of movement from Mr. Executive means that Zelgo Jack's not able to get too much. We do see instant out, however, so they are back immediately. Dash Blue barely dodges Fallen Grits. Fallen Grits gets the light bomb put on them. Actually, Falling Sword dodges the light bomb, and we do see Bunker to dodge the damage. We see Fallen Grits is taking the damage. Zelgo Jack is falling in under them. Lightning Breath trying to get what they can on the objective. It is slightly in favor of Vendetta so far, but by no means is it over, to say the least. See Dash Blue getting double flip. However, there's finally 2 kills coming through from my ear, getting it that Fan of Knives hitting both. And we do see Zelgo Jack is going to hit Rayvar out. And with that one Fan of Knives, that fight was sealed. And that will be likely objective going over to the side of Vendetta now. As Geoxerus is just going to finish off the objective for Vendetta. Right, so 3-man defense from Running Wild. Honestly, not the worst 3 heroes you can have to defend. I guess you would rather Vala up still, because she can do pretty well at get rid of it. But no, not quite here, as they are going to get forced out. Good amount of punching going out onto Rayvar. SCH getting hit as well. We do see that it is Mortar Punisher doing pretty well at pushing into this so far. I don't think I noticed that one at the beginning. But we do have Dash Blue going in, getting a nice stun. And there is a triple stun from the Punisher. Fallen Grits in a decent amount of danger. Does need to dash out. They do get to live, thankfully. But no, that is the second fort now going down to Running Wild. Keep in mind, there's a full 5 people here for defense of Running Wild. But Vendetta has had someone split pushing the whole time. And actually, Zelgo Jack has been getting a decent amount done bottom lane. And we do see Commandeer Odin is now dropped, so that will be a decent amount of damage coming through. A lot of siege with Commandeer Odin, but we do now see that Tychus is going for Zelgo Jack, does get charged from him, doesn't push him in the wall. Dash Blue going in an interesting direction, not quite expecting him to go up there, but looks like Rayvar's looking for another charge, but will not be able to get it, and is being kind of zoned out by the side of Vendetta to the point where they can't really connect to any walls even if they wanted to. Right, they're now looking at the bottom camp. Nice. SCH pushed into a wall. Rayvar trying to get what damage he can of him. Over here is Indigo Zap, bringing him down quickly. Spell armor pops. However, Time Trap maybe a little bit counteractive there with the Lightning Breath, as it was almost over by the time it was down. But it's not the end of the world, to say the least. And we do now see the side of Running Wild being pushed heavily into Elixir. Did have to use the timeout, and actually I think it dodged the... I think it did dodge the containment disc, and so it hit Mr. Executive, if I saw that correctly. I don't know, maybe I missed it. And we do see now C10 Ver HC1 is going in at Dash Blue, getting a nice little leap, dodging a lot of the extra damage coming in, but no, they will not be able to be found. Keep in mind, Diablo does have Soulstone up now. They'll do a decent amount of self-sustain at this point. You can see that they do have their fire aura going off. Do a little bit of burning to SCH, but 16s are for it roughly the same time for both teams. Well, a little bit more ahead for Vendetta than Running Wild, but Running Wild honestly isn't too far behind. This Executive is pulled into it by SCH, however we do see him pull through. Nice flip by Rayvar. Rayvar getting what fire they can out, and that is Vala now in a dangerous situation. Slowing sands are around them. We see the silence going on to Mr. Executive. Mr. Executive unable to get the pull off on Vala because they did have both charges, which is disastrous. Good silence by the Stukov there to very heads-up play, keeping the Anduin from pulling anyone out of danger. And that's like the type of plays I want to be smart enough to make on healer sometimes. And sometimes I forget, but sometimes like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. But it's doing it consistently. That's how you get up to these higher divisions. And the healer Vendetta, Geoxorus, is showing that right there. Nice lightning breath. It will take out the Tychus. The tank killer has been killed by the tank. We do see Bunker dropped. Full on Grits is looking at a charge. Does actually miss Geoxorus. Geoxorus using that flaming strike, but they are going to continue to be slowed. There's not much where they can go, and they will be going down. And what was looking like to be just in the favor of Running Wild, Vendetta has been swung back in favor of Running Wild. The pendulum swings. We see a charge going on to Dash Blue. Dash Blue deciding, actually, I might not want to go in there with my Vengeful Grosses. I'm just going to stay back here where it's safe, where I'm happy. We can say they are backing out. Keep in mind, 14 seconds left on Tiger Spawn, 25 on the Stukov, 20 now that I've started installed. And we do see that the objective is going to be for once in favor side of Running Wild, but it is still early days. We see Zelgrojak is in the backline. Briefly walked in division, so they know where they are. But immediately deciding to go elsewhere. And they just looks like Vendetta is choosing to give the objective to Running Wild, which, fair enough. You are still respawning. You have a healer back now. But they are, however, taking both bruiser camps. This is going to put a lot of pressure on during the actual the Punisher phase, when the Punisher is pushing. So we're going to have to see what the side of Running Wild is going to need to do here. Because they are obviously going to need someone to go back. But I like that they're leaving the 39 minions up and looking to do damage control already. Because now, yeah, Vendetta have to either make a choice to A, ignore objective forever and just let Running Wild clear everything. Well, stop Running Wild clearing everything is probably a better way to put it, sorry. Or they go for objective, Running Wild clear, and then still get at the end anyway, or likely get at the end anyway. Well, Zelgrojak is the one a little bit in danger. They do have the Ardent Defender up, so I wouldn't say they're going to die here by any means, but if there's a good enough stun lock, it's possible. We see that is actually the Vala going down first. Mr. Executive trying their best to escape, however, goes down to Tychus in the end. We see Falling Sword, doesn't quite find anything. Chromie is in danger. Goes down before I could even see really what health they were on before they kind of popped out of it. Either way, that's a very dead Chromie. Rayvar just going to keep running and not want to be stuck in the middle of that shenanigans. We do hear silence coming out. That is Rayvar taking a lot of damage there, going down very quickly at this point. They will have to back out, and that will be Rayvar going down. Commandeer Odin is dropped. It's going to start pushing in now. We do see first tower is going to go down, second one as well. Meanwhile, Arcane Punisher is actually still pushing, getting a decent amount of push done in the back line. But not the be-all, end-all that we're expecting here. So let's see how we're going as it is getting pushed into. Rayvar is going to try to zone out everyone. But no, we do see that that is going to be now. The front gate is down. Vendetta backs out to safety, not quite wanting to go down here. Right, camping taken by Vendetta. Which, yeah, you have 20 advantage. You have those Storm Talents, you may as well. Speaking of Storm Talents, we do have Heaven's Fury, Joanna, Big Red Button, Tychus, which I guess should have realized when I saw a big red circle here. We also see Control Chaos, Stukov, Shadow Orb, Vengeance on the Maiev, and Seraphim picked up by the... I can't remember her name. Urel. And keep in mind that, yeah, they do have 21s, but it's still pretty close all in all. We do actually see Blaze is going to hit by Containment Disc Splash. Dash Blue is wanting it. Mr. Executive got to a position where they weren't going to get silenced that time. Managed to pull on Grits out of danger, so to speak, and gets to live that little bit longer. Right, now we see rotation coming up. Ravar getting out dodged. Tigers can use Commandeer Odin now, so they are ready to go. But I feel like objective is going to get called soon, so you may want to be a bit patient on that, because Commandeer Odin can do very well on objectives. Helps clear out the shrine skeletons quite well, and can very much also be used to poke from quite far out of the Diablo charge range, where you're not necessarily going to be standing in front of any walls. We do now see those Storm Talents coming through for the side of Running Wild. We do see Piercing Sands of Chromio picked up at 18, as well as Ravar not quite able to quite get on objective. Light Bomb is still up, keep it in mind, but looks like everyone's moved far enough away where it won't be able to do anything. Zelgo Jack comes on backline. Full on crits does go down. They are burned notice, so they won't be able to put down their oil here. However, we do see that it is healer for healer and a win for Stukov. However, it looks like Full on Grits will be the next one to go down, as Ravar is now the one stuck in the middle of everything. We do see that Dash Blue has to back up. They are chasing down Elixir. Elixir trying their best to escape. Looks like they're doing so. CT over HC1, however, is going to lead them to Elixir. Elixir not able to outrun it. Yeah, as I say, not able to outrun it, insta-mounting Yrel, and Yrel will chase him down and ultimately finish that kill. So, objective probably going to be called maybe next 30 seconds or so. Wow, look at that. That kind of foresight coming through of going, yeah, I haven't seen it in a little bit. It's probably going to come up now. But in all honesty, it may... If it wasn't such a reset and no Stukov, it may have been an end call, but no, not this time. But I will go over Heroics now. Last of the Storm Talents now. We do also see Essential picked up by Anduin, and the Hellgate picked up by Diablo. I am a fan of Hellgate. Personal favorite of mine, just to blink on in with that Apocalypse style circle on the ground, just to see what it can do. Right, objectives up, but it looks like the side of Vendetta is going to be starting with camps to start. No one... Oh, nope. Yep. Now they've gone to get the Bruiser camp. Ravar crouching around. Actually, may have spotted it if they were a little bit sooner, but no. Didn't quite get on in time. Tychus decides to finish a wall with a well-placed grenade. An objective will be started by Vendetta. I nearly call them Running Wild again. I for some reason keep getting things the wrong way around today. It's not the best day for casting for me, apparently, but I'm doing alright. I'm at least doing the job at describing everything. We see Zelgo Jack is in a position where they can see everyone. Does have trait pre-charged, so they will be able to go in soon enough. There we are. Mr. Executive does see we're going back. Mr. Executive is actually getting jumped on by Mr. Zelgo. No, Zelgo Jack. And that is going to be eventually them rolling out. Dash Blue gets charged on by Full on Grits. Full on Grits, however, snack back out. And that is the lightning shield going down. That is actually Ravar barely escaping with that Hellgate. Zelgo Jack is in danger, but nope, does insta-mount to get on out. Geoxerus and SCH trying to hold on. We do see Chromie falling directly on top of the Stukov's head. And that is a healer missing for Vendetta. And this map will go on. In saying that, Odin was dropped a bit later into the fight. They can still... Nope, there it is. So they can still have a decent amount of poke. And actually, that looks like it's Ravar getting relatively low. And that will be them going down. Full on Grits finding a nice charge, hitting Indigo Zap, therefore hitting Joe as well. We can actually see the Falling Sword takes out the second front line of Blaze. So now we're in an even fight. This is actually no less than even. This is a 4v3 up until 3v4 by the time Diablo gets back. It will still be a 3v4, unfortunately, for the side of Running Wild. Mr. Executive trying their best to get out. We see charge going out onto Dash Blue. However, it will not. It'll be all for naught as they will still go down to the insta-mounting Yrel. Zelgo Jack doing what they can. Elixir keep running a little Chromie. We do see that Ravar does stop Zelgo Jack. Unfortunately, they did not give a flip onto him, and that is Chromie going down. And now Ravar is the one in danger as well. Oh, containment disc just falling short. Dash Blue not able to quite find them. Ravar having to keep running. They do have a small collection of souls in their arsenal, not quite halfway, but getting up there. And we do now see that Tychus ready to use Commandeer Odin. Ravar had managed to pull the Punisher over to the fort, so we will see a little bit at least delay on that. The Punisher won't be there yet. Nice stun by Blaze. Nope, it is put immediately back by Ravar to the lane. And we do see Lightning Breath being used. However, it will not be VM going down. Well, actually, that will be VM going down. That's what I said. Lightning Breath wasn't able to find anything. What we do see that is Urel going down. Full on Gretz did drop Bunker, but won't be afforded luxury of surviving like C10 8 Hervada was given. And that will now be the core quickly falling. 30, 20, not quite quickly as I thought. 12, 10. No one's able to quite go down at the end. And that will be the first game of the series going over to the side of Vendetta. Well played, both teams. And actually, from what I saw, Joanna did not get that ended, but it does look like... I'm just going to... Yeah. But right. Good first game of the series. Definitely in Vendetta's favor, but it did look like at any moment Running Wild could very much snatch that back and start running away with it. So let's have a look at what happened in terms of stats. We did see Tychus did have such heavy burn thanks to... what was it called again? The bigger they are did have a lot of it upfront damage, which they were able to finish off with Grenade. But even Maev was doing very well at finishing off kills. Meanwhile, Vala did pretty well, 83k. Then Chromie behind them on 57. So a little bit of red blue in terms of damage. Siege, Blaze did very well. Tychus actually got up there pretty much equal, actually slightly ahead of Urel. But the actual soak was in favor of Urel there. Blaze not able to quite keep up with them. Right, talents. Let's have a look. Anything that stands out in particular? Not to me, at least. But I'm also not great at Urel. I can't comment on Urel. I'm not great at Maev. I can't comment on Maev. Otherwise, everything makes sense. We get a pretty standard array of builds across the board from what I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it over to my map view screen. Tick off that Vendetta took that first one. And let's have a look at what the second map is. Right. What will it be? We have Tomb of the Spider Queen. So, last game of the day, for me at least, is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. So, let's see how this one goes as I open it on up. Right. Will Running Wild be able to come back here, or will Vendetta close out the series in this map? We'll have to wait and see. However, as I do know... Well, I actually don't know what the scoreline is, but I do know that we will be seeing it happen very soon. So, let's go into the game. There's the beetle just slowly dying. Wait. Why is this beetle red? It's usually blue. This beetle's alive! Is it because there's a guy? What? Anyway, outside distractions, we have Toru on the... Or T0 Ru? I don't know. I'm going to go Toru on the... Zagara. Indigo Zap is on Tassadar. Zalgo Jack is on the... Diva this time, Geoxerus on Malfurion, and SCH is on the Diablo. Meanwhile, Elixir is on Tychus this time. Mr. Executive on the Reindeer Rhaegar. Full on Grits Imperius. C10 Ver HD1 is on the Maev and immediately hit with a Moonfire. And Ravar is on Joanna this time. Nice. SCH getting pretty aggressive, already stepping up into it. Ravar getting even more so, does get Line Shield popped them in. Charge for SCH on the Fallen Grits. Nice shield, however, Tasswall kind of messing that up. Meaning there isn't going to be a full follow-up from it. But looking at talents real quick, we only have one stacking at level 1. And that is Lightning Shield Stormcaller by Rhaegar. Because we do see, as much as I like Vengeful Roots, I like for Brockway, Emerald Roots are, well, it is just a better option. So Emerald Dreams is definitely the better option. As that sleep adds just so much extra utility behind it, and just that extra CC can very much go somewhere. And Diva comes in like a truck and runs over the Maev, basically sending them to another realm, the Shadow Dimension. Zelra Jack, excellent on that kill there, good to pick it up. We do see they are at least pestering full-on Grits now coming down to help clear that bottom wave, choosing that percent damage build as well. And we can see now that camps are picked up by both Vendetta and Running Wild. Nice pick up there. Running Wild getting that out a little bit faster than Vendetta, but it's not going to matter too much as both are going to clash at relatively even times. If not slightly under Vendetta's gate, which actually isn't amazing if you're running wild. I may have liked to see a little bit of a slower clear there, so this was even more under gates. As you can see, it is just outside as is. But man, all 5 members of Vendetta came up to clear that, and they have absolutely shredded it apart. But I do like that Running Wild did manage to pick up that bottom camp in the meantime. Siege camp going over to Running Wild is a good play, especially you need momentum from the last game. How are you going to find it? Do camps, get soaked, etc. Nice charge by SCH. We see C10 Ver HD1 is in danger. They do pull SCH in, get as much damage out of him as possible. However, that's Mr. Executive and the C10 Ver HD1 stuck in an awkward position. Geoxerus hit by Teva, however, it took a little bit too long. Geoxerus now having to run up in the awkward position. SCH trying their best to keep everyone alive, but nope. That will be Malfurion eventually going down. Okay, so we have Lightning Shield build, which I do like this build from the Rhaegar. I do think it's very good for single target healing. It does help you keep someone alive longer, as well as if you're getting kind of heavily dove or you're choosing a dive yourself. It's pretty good at stopping too much from happening. We do see SCH1 does try to go in, gets pushed back out immediately. Does get flipping Elixir, and Elixir will go down. Not ideal if you are... C10 Verd makes so much more sense, probably easier. I'll probably just call that Z. Also, welcome Thelma Vial, I'm going to assume. I hope you're doing well this evening. Meanwhile, we can see the side of Vendetta are going to start pushing in. They do... Actually, both teams pretty comparable, pretty close to hand in. A little bit in favor of Running Wild, but Vendetta does at least already have some in, so they're not going to have any kind of major issues coming up if anything goes wrong immediately. But they do have a 7 advantage, and those talents are coming through. Interesting that we see full W coming in from the Diva. It's not something you see very often. Typically you see the kind of charge talents at level 4 and 13, 4 and 7, especially because Zelrajack has already been getting quite aggressive with it. However, Mr. Executive is the one out of position, will be taking a decent amount of damage, and unfortunately will go down just now. Right, and that actually looks like Tora will be next to follow, so that is Diablo going down. That's actually what was a bad fight for Running Wild turned out to be quite a good one, as they did manage to turn it into a 2 for free so far, 4 for free now. And that is a lot of things happening in a very short amount of time. I guess one was a mech, but so 2 for 3.5. But hey, that is at least after that last map. Running Wild needs something like that. And we can now see both teams have turned in. Running Wild having a bit more than Vendetta, but Vendetta were able to turn it in before anything else had happened. I'm just going to delete that, Ben, because no one did anything. So return points. So Red Web Weavers are descending now that I'm going to get my words right. So, first Web Weaver phase of the game. You don't always see too much happen here. If they do get a kill, you'll see a lot more happen. And we do actually see SCH is being chased out by Elixir. Nothing found on them, however. So that will be them living at least for a little bit longer. They've decided to forego mid-Web Weaver help top one. Actually, it looks like only Diablo's going top, or at least holding in an aggressive position to make sure that top can get as much value as it can. But now we see SCH does back up immediately. Well, C10 Ver is now there, ready to go in. Nope, just using that. Oh, there we go. There's the tether. Nice charge for Diablo, but C10 Ver did flip at the right time. SCH not quite able to find the stun onto them. And they do clear up for Web Weavers pretty well. Really only losing, what, one tower and a gate? Pretty good trade. Pretty good defense of the objective there. Nice spear by Full On Grits. However, SCH will go down at the end. That's a bomb directly on top of him. Full On Grits, the only one hit by it. Zelrajack does remake before anything can find them. And that will be 10s coming through first for Running Wild. It looks like we have Commandeer Odin picked up. We have Containment just picked up by the Maev. Ancestral Healing, Rhaegar. A few more people thinking about it. But on the other side we have... Oh, there we go. We have Imperius picking up Angelic Armaments. And Joe's still having a good think about it. And on the other side, we do have Lightning Breath Diablo, Black Hole Tassadar, Tranquility on Malfurion, Bunny Hop Diva, and devouring more on Zagara. I do like it. I do like the pickup. Meanwhile, Reaver is going to get stored as Toru does have very good vision over both these objectives. We know where Reaver is now as well. Toru going, okay, can I store it again? Will it get the auto attacks on them? No, it doesn't quite get it in time. Reaver gets 20 of their 50 gems in. So not the amazing spot for them. We see that it is now the unstoppable bunny hopping D.Va cutting in the backline. Nice lightning breath. D.Va doing their survive. They do lose mech in the process. However, we do see Condemnators coming out onto Diablo. Nice. Nice. I can't remember what's called. Devouring more. And we can see that a lot of members on the side of Vendetta, not Vendetta Orlando, but running Wilderlow. And that means there's going to have to be a full retreat while their Imperius dies just over here in the real thick of it. Maybe not the corridor you want to fight a team like Vendetta in. I mean, saying that, Commander Odin can get a lot of splash damage throughout it, and there's a lot of resets that can be found by Maev and Spear from Imperius can all find pretty good things. But things such as Bunny Hop D.Va, devouring more on the Zagara, and even Lightning Breath from Diablo can get a lot of value in that very small area. And you can see it did. They managed to, sure, get only one kill, but the side of Running Wild was so low by that point that they did have to back out. Nice charge by SCH, however, in a little bit of an awkward situation. Shield is only just coming back up now. I imagine it may come off cooldown, be used off cooldown, but no, we see Toru going down first. We do both C10 Ver and have Fallen Grits having to back out. We do actually see the Angelic Armaments being used. Minion Wave soaks it. We see SCH getting a flip onto Fallen Grits, and Fallen Grits pushed into the gate will go down, and that is unfortunate for them. But it does happen, which not the end of the world, but you are at least it's a 1-for-1 trade. It's unfortunate that it was how Imperius went down, but it does happen. Right, we do see Zalgo Jack turning in their gems before they can go down as well. Meanwhile, we do see that Running Wild are hunting another turn in for themselves. We see Geoxerus turned in theirs. 6 left on the side of... Oh, excellent store by Indigo Zap. Getting that W under them just in time, meaning that they are going to be able to store it. Let's have a look at gems. Most of it is actually carried on Joanna currently. 40, not 50 of the team's gems on her alone. So that is a very big pinata running around the map at the moment. Raver probably not wanting to go down anytime soon. Nice clearing out that. We see Zelgo Jack's like, actually, maybe I shouldn't be here. Both teams have turn in now. That's the thing to note. So any major mess ups here may be costly. We see C10 Ver going in. Red Weavers are found top that is. Oh, that's a bomb right next to them. Mr. Executive and Raver are going to take a decent amount of damage. Mr. Executive, however, going to take the bigger brunt of it. Thank you, just being a smaller health pool in general. Nice charge by SCH. Indigo Zap trying their best to get out. No, they're not getting out. They're chasing south. C10. C10 trying to waste their time. Does jump. Does get a nice little escape. Does play ring around Verosi. Briefly walks in tower range. Knows they're dead. And will go down in the end. Oh, cool. Let's just do that immediately. Right. That is the objective coming up now. The Red Web Weavers. Why do I keep having so much more difficulty saying Red Web Weavers? I see Red Web Weavers, which doesn't make any sense. We see Fallen Grits spearing in. We do see Root coming out, and that is a CP Grits. Do need a little bit of that. Raver trying to get what they can. They do have 50 gems. They're getting a little bit too aggressive. Raver having to back out. They get Ancestral on them, but that is Mr. Executive going down for the sins of the tank. Full on Grits and C10 Ver having to play pretty safe. It looks like they want to do something about it, but honestly can't. But yes, that is at least down now. We do see 2 forts going down. Top one, relatively low. Looks like it could be sneezed on by even a Diablo and will fall. But it looks like just in general, the side of Vendetta are wanting to take it with them. And it is over for now. Right, and there it goes. Just a sneeze. Except it was not quite who I thought was sneezing, it was just Tessa running up to sneezing instead. We do see Vision Circle goes out. Was it on boss? I don't know, I didn't quite catch that actually. Right. Both teams nearly at 16s. It looks like that Vendetta will get in first, so are back in control. We do really need to get the 60 gems off Raver. They are carrying way too much. They still have 20 by the end of that turn-in, which, impressive, but terrifying if you are Joanna. You don't want to die with those 20. But you do at least have turn-in now. You're kind of gonna have to deal with top and let's say, hey, we know that's going down. Let's just sacrifice top and push with the rest. But no, it looks like Maev has gone back to help that push. Looks like the whole team has gone back to help that push, which might be a bit of a misstep, but I guess we'll have to see how that goes for them. Right. It looks like now that Running Wild are ready to fight again. They are a little bit down 16s. It's probably the main thing to know. I'm going to briefly bring up talents, as we do see that it is going to be a little bit an issue. Vera 16s now for Running Wild. Nice pull by C10 Ver as his CH is pulled back in. We do see that Web Weaver is charging up its laser beam. Well, it's more like its force wave to take out a decent amount of damage. You see one tower going down. You see everyone is now up here. D.Va flanking in from underneath. Vera's for Bunny Hop finding C10 Ver the most. C10 Ver does go out, but we do see as Imperius getting taken a lot of damage. We do see that it is a Ancestral going out of him, but Vera's anti-healing on him, actually ruining that heal, as Zelgojack did have their W pointed directly at them. That defense matrix is doing minus healing thanks to that. Which one is it? Oh, aggression matrix. There we go. For level 4. And now that we see that Running Wild is going to start this boss, not Running Wild, Vendetta are going to start the boss. They are going to see what they can do to get it kind of in their favor and see if they can close out this map. Neither team have turned in. Keep that in mind. Vendetta are definitely closer. They are 12 off compared to the 20, well, 17 now that Running Wild are off. We can see Running Wild are at least doing that bottom camp, doing what they can to keep some pressure on the map, which, good play, I do like it. Toru getting very aggressive now. Starting to, well, actually not just Toru, but the whole team getting very aggressive into the gates of Running Wild. Running Wild, who are going to try their best to defend against Vendetta. Vendetta feel very much like an oncoming storm at this point. That that Running Wild are trying to weather. Nice pull by... Oh, I was going to say nice pull by Joe. There was a little bit of a cleanse happening there as that leaf was activated by Geoxerus, as both SCH and Zelgojack did end up off that. C10 Ver ran over by the car once again. Zelgojack doesn't actually pop the Bunny Hop bomb in time, so we'll be without Nick for a while. And that is Full on Grits once again stuck in a route, and will be them going down. So are we going to get an end call here from the side of Running Wild? They're nearly out of boss health, sure, but they're also up 2 heroes. But no, they decide to play safe. They need 2 gems to get turn-in, and they're just going to decide to do that. However, fortunately for the side of Running Wild, they do actually get value bottom. That Siege Giant actually takes bottom for them. And there's the turn-in now for the side of Vendetta. Running Wild needing to muster yet another defense. Oh no, Zelgojack instead is going to go to clear the Giants instead of turning in. Which I wonder if that's a misstep. I don't know. And that is a wave cleared. Well, Indigo Zap is going to start handing in. Same for Zelgojack. And that is turning now for the side of Vendetta. Once again having the red web weavers turning in for them. C10 a little bit in an awkward position. They do know they are behind. Indigo Zap, nice movement getting away from C10. Nice charge onto C10. However, we see Devouring Maw going on to Full on Grits. Full on Grits not going to quite get any major damage or combo coming out from them after that. But we do see Tori's actually one getting relatively low. And actually Imperius hits for snipe. They managed to find all those shots from Angelic Armaments directly onto the Zagara, which absolutely necessary. C10 and... Oh, so C10 and Raver actually in danger, especially Mr. Executive was actually one in danger most, getting relatively low, but actually at the safest positioning. We do see that it is Commodore Odin being dropped. Elixir finding the mech of D.Va. Raver having to back out, already at 29 gems again, not wanting to lose any of them. And 20s are picked up by Vendetta. We see Diablo is stopped in their tracks. They are going that Lord of Terror, that extra healing, extra souls, and just increases your survivability so much. See that Indigo Zap and Geoxorus. So this is the backline in general. The squishies of Vendetta are trying to hold on. Nice push onto C10. C10 now it did have a tether onto Geoxorus, but Geoxorus has it taken on of him early enough where they're not pulled into immediate danger. Nice blasted shield by Joe. SCH doing their best appeal for Geoxorus. Geoxorus will go down in the end, however. Diva Bomb directly in the middle of everything. It will hit Lixia and Fallen Grits for decent amount. Actually, C10 Ver nearly went down to that. Fallen Grits, however, isn't one in danger now. Nice pre-queens by Mr. Executive, stopping it dead in their tracks. SCH chasing full-on Grits. However, that is that force barrier coming out from Tassadar, trying to hold them in. We see a nice push onto Raver, however, unable to get on top of him. Elixir and Mr. Executive now in danger. That is Bunny Hop coming out from Diva. They're not quite the infinite Bunny Hop, but they are a Blade of Armor, so they can take a decent amount of damage, and we'll push in under the fort. And now, what was initially a very good fight for Running Wild had to end up on the back foot, and that was Maev going down. Sure, it is Vendetta without healer, but Vendetta still have 4 members up, all really close to each other, and Zelgo Jack is respawn out. And also, as you mentioned, Vendetta do have respawn advantage. They should be up in just a few moments now. Fallen Crits considered going in, fought better, and decided not to. That's character development. We do now see Toru is being charged onto. Nice! Devouring more from Toru, meaning that there is going to be a nice combo coming out. We do see that Fallen Grits is taking a lot of damage. They do need to pop Angelic Armaments. That minus healing doing so much, but no, there'll be them going down. We see Mixer Executive flipped in. That's 30 gems down from Ben. Maev has left the game. We do see Raver is trying their best to hold things on. Are they going to need a pause, or have they just kind of accepted that is all she wrote? Raver taking damage. Oh no, Maev is back. Raver doing their best to kind of zone out the side of Vendetta. SCH gets a charge on Elixir. However, C10 Ver does get the containment disc onto Diablo, so they're not able to do too much more. But there is the last major bastion of gems in terms of Running Wild. But it looks like Vendetta has just called end at this point. C10 Ver getting zoned out by... Oh, that minion went flying. C10 Ver is going to get chased away. Nice backflip. Geoxorus and Indigo Zap getting a little bit bloodthirsty. Decide actually, maybe not. Tychus will however go down by the core of Running Wild. Diva Bomb finishes off. And that is game and the series going over to the side of Vendetta. GG's called by SCH. Alright. Let's have a look at the game summary screen, shall we? In terms of stats, both teams actually did a lot. That's the thing, like, these are these games that look like they aren't close, but actually are much closer than you think frequently. Just one team barely gets an advantage over the other and they're able to push something off of that. Which is probably the best thing to watch things like Nexus Heroic and Storm Division 4, seeing what they could do with even small advantages. And we can see that, yes, that small advantage from Vendetta eventually was taken. Like, yeah, it was an advantage for Running Wild at first, but Vendetta did find one good fight where they maybe got 1 or 2 more people than Running Wild, and Running Wild then had to take the back foot and see what we could do to get in. So, Vendetta did take it out at the end of the day. Running Wild not quite getting there. With 89k hero damage Tassadar most in the game by a decent margin. Zagara actually not that far off in saying that. Then 53 on Joanna. Joanna actually doing the most for both siege and hero damage for Running Wild. Otherwise, we have Soak also in favor of Joe, while Diva did have theirs. Imperius not known for their wave clear, which is a bit unfortunate. Other than that, healing pretty close between Rhaegar and Malfurion. Mr. Executive did actually do more, but I guess there was definitely a lot more damage being pumped into the side of Running Wild than there was Vendetta. In terms of talents, anything that stands out. I do like the change here, or I do like Blood and Thunder here. It does actually a decent amount of extra, helps you with your cooldowns quite a bit. So good to build off that. Slowing Vicious Acid Banelings. Do like it as well. You don't see it picked up as much as often in these kind of lower divs that I usually play in B cast. You typically see the quest talent picked up at 7, but it is, I know, a bit more inconsistent than other talents. Otherwise, yeah, everything kind of here kind of makes sense general, and this is kind of that combo pool build that we do see, but didn't quite pay off this time. But right, let's go to the map view screen and see how the series went. I didn't right click. There we go. Right, so it was a 2-0 over to Vendetta. They did take Infernal Shrines. pretty well in terms of structures, similarly for Tomb of Spider Queen. However, it did feel like a lot of the fights very much could have gone either way. Just at the end of the day, Vendetta did barely find someone earlier on in the fights and were able to snowball it from there. But that hasn't been it for me for now. I've got other things to do after this, so I'll catch people all later for more casting at a later date. So to everyone who is watching, wish you good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. But I'll see you in the Nexus. Goodbye, at least. Well, for now.